I was reading an article on the USA Today about black home ownership, and while this is a very difficult thing, we didn't have too much progress since the Federal Housing Act of 1968. Now, if you go back into the history, that pretty much was a federal, pretty much a act that protected lenders and buyers and home buyers, and there was a lot of unlawful discrimination going on. So it pretty much made it very difficult for minorities to purchase homes and therefore to accumulate wealth over generations to come. Now, in that particular time, we had only 41.7% of African Americans, and during the African American community all over the United States, owned homes. Therefore, now we fast forward into, we had a different surge, I'm going to say in 2010, 2011, people were buying homes. Actually, you want to say in the late 1990s, but we had the recession that hit at 2007, 2008, and a lot of people were affected, especially African Americans. Now, statistically speaking, they were stating that, okay, well, African Americans, there were like 16.8% unemployed. You have whites, the Caucasians, they were 9.3% unemployed, and you had the Hispanics, or 13.8% unemployed, and so therefore it was very difficult for them to buy homes. Now, one of the main reasons is income. The black median income for them to purchase homes were $82,000 a year. Okay, compared to whites, it was over $91,000 a year, and then we can always state that, well, the redlining in the communities, you know, if you don't have any type of education, or you have any type of, like, it's kind of hard to have access to like good corporate jobs with little to education or papers, and it would make it very more difficult to go ahead and purchase a home. Okay, therefore you will settle into something, or even afford one. You will settle into just, you know, apartment or different condos, but not a home per se. Then we gotta understand the desire of doing that as well. Some people believe it's very convenient to not, you know, own a home, because you got to think about the furnace, the expensive utilities. I mean, you know, the rent, the mortgage lenders, and you got to rely on that job. So financial stability is extremely important. And you know, if you're around a community that has low that, like low opportunities, or job corporations, or any stable corporations besides like retail and different things like that, or no good entrepreneur skills, it's going to be very difficult to maintain that lifestyle, because you got many African Americans that purchase homes but live in there for a temporary time due to foreclosure, or do a $245,000 in medical bills. It was a 50-year-old woman, I forgot her name, but she always desired to buy a home, but she couldn't because she was overloaded through the health insurance, you know, just debt and that, man. So the medical bills. So things in life happens, man. But I really kind of find this interesting. Student loan debt is a huge thing. A lot of millennials, want to say in the second quarter, they stated that this surge, they was actually buying homes overall, you know, for all races. But particularly, I'm looking like we didn't have any type of progress for our accumulating wealth. And it really gave me understanding this when I had a VA home loan class, and that's for the Veteran Assistance Program, that you don't have to put no money down. I mean, you can easily just get a mortgage. Now, you have to pay an interest rate fund. You know, interest rates fund, it depends on your credit score as well. Credit lines is extremely important, and it's more than just paying your bills on time and collecting small expenses. But you know, doing the FHA loan, they still made it very difficult. And statistically speaking, they were saying that minorities was having a hard time of getting private lenders and buyers compared to whites, and therefore the redlining based on their communities is just programs them and keep them in I say an economic like chokehold, and it's very hard, and so they just have to settle for less unless they have the ability to move out to the outskirts or the suburban areas in their community. So I just find that a little interesting though, man, because the Hispanics like 48.6%, and they climbing up the ladder economically through more financial stability. And then you got people who live in one household as well. They have more of that family unity bond, and they take care of the bills here and there. And I think that as African Americans, we do kind of desire to have a home, but then again, too, it's kind of hard to obtain that as well. I mean, I just think about it like, wow, like we still didn't really progress it in the 1960s, man. And then this is the type of stuff that Martin Luther King was talking about when he was stating his poor people campaign, though. But I'm looking like, if all collective could come together, man, you know, like the economy, it can be booming, and sometimes it can go down as well. But, you know, like home ownership, you know, I want a 4-bedroom home. Like, you want a house. I mean, something that is yours, something that you can accumulate over time and just keep. So those are the good things to have. You know, I mean, you can really do what you want to do with it. You can sell it. You can have a complete asset instead of just having more liabilities like insurance and cars and stuff like that, things that depreciate over time. But man, this statistic speaking, man, like 74.1% of whites actually own homes. I'm like, man, so they steadily climbing there, and this is not usually a race thing, but it's just that wow, like when it's gonna be that decade, like we're gonna really just start soaring economically. So maybe the generation on X or can pay the way, or the millennials can, but due to student loan debt, you want to we want to pursue higher education so we can afford those things. But if you don't come from a strictly a generation of wealthy people, it's gonna be very hard. So you're always starting from the bottom, and you really don't have that much time to accumulate at the same time. So when you have the right steps to get these things, to accumulate these things, but we need someone to lead the way for us. And maybe it can be through conventional loans, interest rates. Yeah, you got some people like Hispanics and African Americans, according to this article, have no credit or low credit as well. But I think according to an expert, a realtor expert, said it could be many ways they can avoid that, many ways they can go around that. They can go through your payment history. They can go through just you put in a little percentage or a down payment, because you don't really have to be rich to actually own a home. I used to think that, and the process is as long as you have a little bit of capital, a little bit of money, and you can put like 20% down. Some financial experts said they expect you to put 50% down. They'll recommend you for doing that, so you can pay it off, a 15-year fixed mortgage or 30-year fixed year mortgage, and that's just the mortgage to keep it in your hands. If not, it will just be on through the bank. So I'm just keeping that in mind, though. The black home ownership, redlining may play an issue in that. I was talking to someone at Impact about that, in redlining, like, oh, well, because you're in a certain area, yeah, the insurance rate and interest rate is going to go higher. And, we know we need these things. We know we need the basic necessities. You need home, food, and shelter. And your home is just your castle. And in order to get that, you had to go around these loops. And it's going to be very hard, man. And so you're just tiring yourself out. But I just think that, this is a real interesting thing. I might post this in the description box. You guys can continue to do your own further research on this, though. But since the 1960s, I just think that, man, we really need to really buckle down, man. I'm just looking at statistics right now, because financial stability is extremely important. And owning a home, it can even have to be a mansion, it can be a 3-bedroom home, 4-bedroom home, things that you can pass down at least, and just hold on. And that's just probably one of the main reasons why. But private lenders and bankers, they kind of do make it a little difficult if you get in a loan. I remember my father used to say that, when he tried to start his carpet cleaning business back in the day, and wanted like loans for getting different vans, and one person would get it better than him, and so he was like, man, so he had to work twice as hard to get it. But I mean, it's still doable, but the progress, I just wonder when it's going to start soaring, though. But they said it's plummeted in during the second quarter. But hey, I want to be one of the, I want to say first, but people to actually purchase a home. You got people too that have been divorced. They purchase a home and they end up moving, and so all the money they can really like own it. That's why I think it was another good reasons to get into real estate as well. So I mean, life happens, but I just think that collectively as a group, maybe we can put our minds together, and just have family meetings and get this done. Just buying homes and buying assets to help your children, be successful in this world as they coming into this world, instead of just starting from rock bottom. So this is all interesting here. You guys continue to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys, man. Enjoy your day. I love y'all. What you guys think about this? Redlining may be an issue. Is it always gonna be a forever issue? I don't know, because I understand what Mary Comey, Comey Young Jr. was talking about this when he was running for mayor a few years ago in Detroit. The redlining and trying to lower the car insurance rate. So all this is a little interesting, but I like this, guys, man. I'm out. You guys take care. Deuces.